Have you ever witnessed a single moment so unexpected that an entire crowd seemed to stop breathing? What if a split-second decision from Jungkook turned an ordinary public appearance into one of the most unforgettable moments fans had ever seen? And what if that shocking move revealed a side of him that nobody was expecting? Before we begin, share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you do if Jungkook suddenly appeared right in front of you in a crowded place? Do you think his actions were spontaneous, or was there a deeper reason behind them? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation because this incredible story has fans around the world talking non-stop. Meta description. Did Jungkook really leap toward fans in the middle of a massive crowd? What happened afterward left witnesses stunned and sparked emotional reactions across social media. Could this be one of his most unforgettable fan moments yet? The atmosphere was already electric long before Jungkook arrived. Fans had gathered in enormous numbers, filling every available space with excitement and anticipation. Cameras were raised high above heads. Smartphones were ready to capture every second. Conversations buzzed through the crowd as everyone hoped for even the briefest glimpse of the global superstar. Nobody knew exactly what would happen that day. Most expected a simple appearance. A wave. A smile. Perhaps a short greeting before Jungkook continued with his schedule. What nobody expected was a moment that would leave thousands of people stunned. As Jungkook appeared, the energy instantly changed. Excited voices erupted from every direction. Fans called his name. The crowd surged with enthusiasm. Security personnel remained alert as photographers rushed to capture every angle. Jungkook acknowledged the crowd with his signature smile. The reaction was immediate. Cheers echoed throughout the area. People waved banners. Others held their phones higher in hopes of recording a perfect video. Everything seemed normal, at least for a few moments. Then something unexpected happened. Something that nobody had predicted. Something that would dominate discussions for days afterward. As Jungkook moved through the crowd, he suddenly noticed a group of fans struggling to see him from behind rows of people. Their expressions were filled with excitement and hope. Some stretched upward on their toes. Others held signs above their heads. A few appeared overwhelmed by the sheer size of the crowd surrounding them. For a brief moment, Jungkook looked in their direction. His expression changed. Witnesses later described it as a look of recognition, a look of understanding, a look that suggested he wanted to connect with them despite the distance. Then came the moment that nobody expected. Without warning, Jungkook moved closer. The crowd gasped. Phones shook as people attempted to record what was happening. Fans near the front froze in disbelief. The sudden movement caught everyone by surprise. For a split second, the entire atmosphere transformed. Excitement became shock. Shock became disbelief. Disbelief became pure emotion. People could hardly believe what they were witnessing. The crowd erupted. Screams filled the air. Fans covered their mouths in astonishment. Others burst into tears almost instantly. The emotional impact was overwhelming. Even those who were standing far away could feel the intensity of the moment. The reaction spread through the crowd like a wave. One person gasped, then another, then hundreds, then thousands. The energy became impossible to describe. Social media clips later captured only fragments of what happened, but those who were present insisted that the videos could never fully recreate the feeling. It was one of those rare moments where emotion completely took over. For the fans closest to Jungkook, the experience felt unreal. Many had waited years for an opportunity to see him in person. Some had traveled long distances. Others had spent countless hours hopping for even a brief glimpse. Suddenly, they found themselves far closer than they had ever imagined. Several fans later described feeling frozen in place. Not because they were afraid, but because their minds struggled to process what was happening. Jungkook's presence felt larger than life. Yet in that moment, he seemed remarkably approachable, remarkably genuine, remarkably human. That contrast became one of the most discussed aspects of the event. Despite his immense global fame, Jungkook appeared focused on the people around him. Not the cameras, not the headlines, not the attention, the fans. That simple fact resonated deeply with those who witnessed the moment. As videos began spreading online, reactions exploded across social media platforms. Millions of people watched the clips. Comments poured in from around the world. Some viewers admitted they watched the footage repeatedly. Others confessed they became emotional despite not being present. Many focused on the expressions visible on fans' faces. The tears, the shock, the joy, the overwhelming happiness. Those emotions told the story better than words ever could. Yet another detail captured widespread attention. Jungkook himself appeared genuinely happy throughout the entire interaction. His smile looked natural. His expressions reflected sincerity. There was no sense of obligation, no sign of discomfort. Instead, there seemed to be genuine appreciation. That observation quickly became a central topic of discussion. Fans praised his kindness. They admired his willingness to create memorable experiences. They celebrated the connection he maintained with supporters despite his extraordinary success. As the videos continued spreading, countless viewers shared their own interpretations. Some described the moment as inspiring. Others called it unforgettable. Many simply referred to it as pure Jungkook, a reflection of the qualities that had made him beloved by millions around the world. Interestingly, the discussion eventually expanded beyond the event itself. People began reflecting on Jungkook's journey, his growth, his evolution, his relationship with fans. Many longtime supporters pointed out that moments like this were not isolated incidents. Throughout his career, Jungkook had repeatedly demonstrated appreciation for the people who supported him. Whether through performances, messages, interviews, or spontaneous interactions, he consistently found ways to connect with his audience. That history added emotional weight to the latest event. It wasn't simply a surprising moment. It was another chapter in a much larger story. A story built on connection, trust, appreciation, and mutual support. As days passed, new perspectives continued emerging. Fans shared personal accounts. Witnesses described details that cameras failed to capture. Observers analyzed every second of available footage. Each contribution added another layer to the narrative. Yet despite all the discussion, one thing remained remarkably consistent: the emotional impact. Regardless of language, regardless of location, regardless of background, people reacted emotionally. That universal response revealed something important. The moment was not memorable because it was dramatic. It was memorable because it felt genuine. Authenticity has a unique power. People recognize it immediately. And when they encounter it, they remember it. Jungkook's interaction with fans appeared authentic. That authenticity transformed a brief public appearance into something much larger. Something meaningful. Something unforgettable. As weeks passed, the story continued circulating online. New viewers discovered the clips. New discussions emerged. New reactions appeared. Yet the core message remained unchanged. One unexpected moment had created lasting memories for countless people. The fans who witnessed it would likely remember it forever. The viewers who watched from afar continued discussing it long afterward. And Jungkook, perhaps without even realizing it, had once again demonstrated why his connection with supporters remains so powerful. The event also highlighted a reality often overlooked in discussions about global celebrities. Behind the headlines, behind the achievements, behind the enormous crowds, there are human moments, simple interactions, genuine emotions, shared experiences. Sometimes those moments become more meaningful than awards or records. Sometimes they reveal character more clearly than carefully planned appearances ever could. This seemed to be one of those moments. A brief interaction, a spontaneous decision, a crowd left speechless, a memory created forever. Even now, people continue revisiting the videos. They continue sharing reactions. They continue discussing what they felt when they first saw the footage. Because certain moments refuse to fade. Certain moments leave lasting impressions. Certain moments become stories that fans tell for years. For many people, this was one of those stories. And perhaps that explains why the reaction remains so strong. It was never only about surprise. It was about connection. It was about emotion. It was about witnessing something that felt real in a world often filled with carefully controlled images. Whether future appearances create similar memories remains unknown. Whether another moment will capture global attention in the same way remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The day Jungkook suddenly moved toward fans in the middle of a packed crowd became more than a simple public appearance. It became a moment people would remember. A moment people would discuss. A moment people would revisit. And a moment that reminded everyone why the bond between Jungkook and his fans continues to inspire millions around the world. For many people, the story should have ended there. A surprising moment. A powerful, emotional reaction. A memory that fans would cherish forever. Yet something unexpected happened in the hours that followed. Instead of fading away, the event seemed to grow larger. Every new video angle revealed details that had previously gone unnoticed. Every new witness account added another layer to the story. Every reaction video introduced fresh interpretations. The more people watched, the more emotional the moment became. One particular clip began attracting enormous attention. The footage was shaky. The audio was filled with screams and excitement. Yet despite its imperfect quality, viewers could clearly see the expressions of the fans nearest to Jungkook. Those expressions told an incredible story. Some appeared completely frozen. Others covered their mouths in disbelief. Several fans looked as though they were trying to convince themselves that what they were witnessing was actually real. One young fan was seen wiping away tears almost immediately. Another seemed unable to stop smiling. A third simply stood motionless, overwhelmed by emotion. The clip spread rapidly. Millions watched it. Millions reacted to it. And millions began discussing the same thing. Not Jungkook's movement. Not the crowd. Not even the surprise itself. They were discussing the emotions. Because those emotions felt genuine. They could not be scripted. They could not be rehearsed. They represented pure human reaction. And that authenticity touched people around the world. As conversations continued, many observers pointed out something fascinating. Jungkook himself appeared just as emotional as some of the fans. His smile remained bright. His eyes seemed filled with warmth. At several moments, he appeared genuinely touched by the reactions surrounding him. That observation sparked another wave of discussion. Perhaps this moment meant as much to him as it did to the people around him. Perhaps the connection worked both ways. Perhaps the energy fans felt was being reflected back at them. The possibility resonated deeply with supporters. For years, fans had celebrated Jungkook's achievements. They had supported him through milestones. They had encouraged him through challenges. Now many felt they were witnessing a small glimpse of the appreciation he felt in return. That interpretation transformed the event into something even more meaningful. What initially seemed like a shocking moment suddenly became a symbol of mutual respect, a symbol of gratitude, a symbol of connection. As the days passed, people continued sharing personal reflections. One fan wrote that the footage reminded her why she became a supporter in the first place. Another described watching the videos repeatedly because they made him smile during a difficult week. Others admitted that seeing such genuine happiness helped them feel hopeful. These responses revealed something powerful. The impact of the moment extended far beyond the crowd that witnessed it. It reached people around the world. People who were never physically present. People who experienced the event only through screens. Yet somehow they still felt connected to it. That level of emotional reach is rare. Very few public figures possess the ability to create that kind of response. Yet Jungkook seemed to accomplish it effortlessly. Meanwhile, entertainment communities continued analyzing every available detail. Theories evolved. Interpretations changed. Discussions expanded. Some fans focused on the significance of the interaction itself. Others viewed it as evidence of Jungkook's growing confidence. Many saw it as another example of his unique relationship with supporters. Interestingly, there was no widespread disagreement. People may have interpreted the moment differently, but they generally agreed on one thing. It felt special. It felt authentic. It felt memorable. That consensus became increasingly important as time passed. Because memorable moments often define careers. Not awards. Not statistics. Not records. Moments. The experiences people remember years later. The stories they continue telling long after headlines disappear. The events that become part of an artist's legacy. This interaction seemed destined to become one of those stories. Years from now, fans would likely remember exactly where they were when they first saw the footage. They would remember their reactions. They would remember their emotions. They would remember the feeling of surprise that swept through social media. And perhaps most importantly, they would remember why the moment mattered. Not because it was dramatic. Not because it was controversial. Not because it generated headlines. Because it felt human. In a world increasingly dominated by carefully curated images and controlled appearances, people are naturally drawn toward authenticity. They appreciate genuine emotions. They appreciate unscripted moments. They appreciate experiences that feel real. Jungkook's interaction with fans embodied all of those qualities. That authenticity became the true story. As discussions continued into the following weeks, new viewers kept discovering the videos. Each new audience brought fresh reactions, fresh emotions, fresh appreciation. The cycle repeated itself again and again. Someone would watch the footage for the first time. They would smile. They would feel emotional. They would share it with others. And the story would continue growing. At some point, the event stopped being merely a viral moment. It became something larger. A reminder of why people connect with artists. A reminder of the emotional power of simple interactions. A reminder that sometimes the most unforgettable moments arrive without warning. No elaborate planning. No grand announcement. No special effects. Just one unexpected decision. One genuine reaction. One unforgettable memory. And perhaps that is why the story continues resonating with so many people. Because beneath all the excitement, beneath all the discussions, beneath all the headlines, there is a simple truth. People remember how moments make them feel. And for countless fans, the day Jungkook suddenly moved toward them in the middle of a packed crowd created a feeling they will never forget. A feeling of surprise. A feeling of joy. A feeling of connection. A feeling that, for one brief moment, the distance between superstar and supporter disappeared completely. And long after the crowd dispersed, long after the videos stopped trending, and long after news stories captured public attention, that feeling remained. A lasting memory. A cherished experience. And another unforgettable chapter in the ongoing story between Jungkook and the millions of fans who continue supporting him around the world. Yet what nobody realized at the time was that the emotional impact of the moment was only beginning. As the crowd slowly settled and Jungkook continued moving through the venue, fans remained visibly shaken by what had just happened. Many stood frozen, replaying the event in their minds over and over again. Did that really happen? Did Jungkook actually come that close? Was it real? Those questions echoed throughout the crowd. People checked their phones repeatedly, desperate to confirm that they had successfully recorded the moment. Some laughed nervously, others cried openly. Several fans called friends and family immediately, speaking so quickly that their words became difficult to understand. The excitement was overwhelming. What happened next made the experience even more unforgettable. As Jungkook continued forward, he briefly turned around once more. The crowd erupted instantly. A thunderous wave of cheers filled the air. People who thought the interaction was over suddenly found themselves caught in another emotional moment. For a brief second, time seemed to slow. Jungkook smiled. Not a quick celebrity smile for the cameras. Not a rehearsed expression. A genuine smile. The kind of smile that reaches the eyes. The kind of smile that makes people feel acknowledged. The kind of smile that fans would later describe as unforgettable. That simple gesture triggered another explosion of emotion. Some fans began crying again. Others jumped excitedly. Many simply stood there staring in disbelief. The atmosphere became impossible to describe. It was not just excitement anymore. It was gratitude. For years, many of these supporters had followed Jungkook's journey from afar. They had celebrated his achievements through screens. They had supported him through music releases. They had watched performances from different countries and time zones. For many, opportunities to see him in person were incredibly rare. That reality made the moment even more meaningful. It wasn't merely about seeing a famous artist. It was about feeling connected, feeling recognized, feeling appreciated. As videos continued spreading online, countless viewers noticed something else. The expressions on Jungkook's face seemed different throughout the interaction. There was joy. There was excitement. But there was also something deeper. Pride. Not pride in himself. Pride in the fans. Pride in the community that had grown around him throughout the years. Many supporters interpreted his reactions as evidence of the bond that existed between artist and audience. A bond built through countless shared experiences. Concerts, songs, memories, achievements, challenges, years of mutual support. The more people reflected on the event, the more emotional the story became. It stopped being about one surprising movement in a crowd. Instead, it became a symbol of connection, a symbol of loyalty, a symbol of appreciation. As night fell and discussions continued online, social media became flooded with personal stories. Fans shared where they had been standing. They described what they felt. They explained how the experience changed them. Some admitted they barely slept afterward because they were too excited. Others said they kept replaying the videos until late into the night. A few confessed they became emotional every time they watched the footage. The reactions revealed something remarkable. One brief moment had created memories that people would likely carry for years. That kind of impact cannot be measured through statistics. It cannot be captured through view counts. It exists only in emotions, only in memories, only in the hearts of those who experienced it. Meanwhile, the story continued, attracting new attention. People who had not originally followed the event became curious. What exactly had happened? Why was everyone talking about it? Why were fans reacting so strongly? As they watched the videos, many quickly understood. The footage conveyed something powerful, something authentic, something difficult to manufacture. It showed a genuine connection between Jungkook and the people who supported him. And authenticity remains one of the most powerful forces in entertainment. Days later, the excitement still had not disappeared. If anything, it had grown stronger. New edits appeared online every hour. Slow-motion videos highlighted emotional reactions. Fan compilations collected different camera angles. Comment sections filled with messages from supporters around the world. Many described feeling proud. Others expressed admiration. Some simply said the videos made them smile. Those reactions demonstrated the lasting impact of the event. The moment was no longer confined to one location. It had become global. Millions of people now felt connected to a